Hi, welcome back to Strong as You Think. I'm so glad to welcome you guys back and to welcome anyone who's listening for the first time. Today, I want to start with talking about there was a quote that I read recently on Instagram by someone named Sirat K. Chawla. And here's what she posted. She said, "Be careful, your healing isn't just perfectionism in disguise." Be careful, your healing isn't just perfectionism in disguise. So we want so much to feel better, to do better, to be better, to heal, and that's all good work. But implied in that message is often that we aren't good enough with who we are right now. So many of us feel that thinking we aren't good enough right now is good motivation to change. Now, if that worked well, I'd be teaching that all over the place. And it just doesn't work, or at least it only works temporarily. But we think that's really good motivation. It seems to make sense. If we don't like what's going on now, then we're going to do something to make things better, right? But let's think about it. What happens when I get irritated with my kids? And I notice that happen. So I start saying things to myself like, Amy, you're so dumb. You know, you shouldn't yell at your kids. Why are you doing this again? And so, this happens where I'm upset at something I've done and I keep saying these messages over and over to myself in my head. So after I've been saying that, I often don't feel like going in and loving on my kids. I'm not feeling a lot of love from hearing that about myself, from myself. So I feel pretty crappy. And what usually happens is then I want to go somewhere by myself and watch a show and read or do something so I don't have to think about and feel about how yucky I'm feeling. So I'm doing that and I'm still feeling on edge because I'm trying to distract from this feeling of, pretty yucky. So then when they do come in, I'm still kind of on edge and I'm almost more likely just to be irritated with them again. And then the cycle starts again. So the reality is we are all human and we all get irritated and we all get triggered. But the thing is to figure out that we're not a better person after we stop being triggered. Now, we think that's true because we talk about healing, and healing makes us think about us being whole again. But we are whole as an individual. Things happen to us and we do want to change, we do want to grow, but we don't have to do that from a place of this is so awful. I am so awful who I am right now that I have to get better. Because it often just makes us, that's kind of a shame. And when we're feeling shame, we just want to hide most of the time, or we want to distract from it. And that often does not give us a lot of the things that we need to grow. So we want to be real careful when we're talking about healing, that we do it from a place of growth and not from a place of shame and being upset. So we don't have to hate who we are to want to evolve and to grow. Being hurt is not wrong. Like most of the time when we're talking about healing, it's because of something that has hurt us. And so we either think we need to pretend that we haven't been hurt, or that somehow being hurt makes us not good or wrong. But being hurt is not wrong. Being hurt is not less than. It's just part of. Being hurt is part of being human. Being hurt is part of learning to grow. When we see places where we have been hurt, that often is the best indicator of where we can look and where we can do our next best work. And it's not that we need to ask to be hurt, but when that comes into our lives, we get to see what is the message that that's bringing to us, right? We don't have to blame ourselves, and we don't have to think that somehow that's ruined us or that's made us less. We don't want to use that as a way of saying we're less than, of saying we're not worthy, of saying we're not good enough. Being hurt is just being part of. It's just part of the experience, part of the growth. And it's not less than. Now, that is not to give excuses to others who are harming people. That is not the case at all. You know, we don't condone that at all. But in our own lives, when we have been hurt, we get to acknowledge that we have been hurt and then use that to help us to grow. And that's part of healing. And so we can still say healing, but be really careful to not use it against ourselves to say, I'm broken, I'm wrong. That's the only way we heal. Okay, we can acknowledge the hurt without being broken. So I'm glad that you've joined me today, and I would invite you to think about how you're thinking about your healing and how you're thinking about your pain, and see if that shift helps you to not go into shame, into hiding, into more negative self-talk. All right. Thank you. We'll see you next time.